Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go.
Present. At this time, I'll call upon Councilmember Espinoza to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilmember Alvarado. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for the approval of agenda, we need to have a request to amend the council agenda. And it's the approval of agreement with the City of Shafter and the California Department of Corrections and Rehab, the CDCR, to terminate the settlement agreement and the mutual release in Sacramento County Superior Court case number 374-229 and 533-434, and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement. This has to do with the relinquishment of the lease for the CCF, which was our prison here in town. Entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to add this as a walk-on item to the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, this is the fun part, when we get to have all of the guests that are present.
We're doing the agenda.
I thought you did it in your motion.
We do
No,
them
you did
separate?
it separate? Oh, okay, well, then we'll have another one. We'll have another motion.
Make a motion to now approve the agenda as read,
I'll second that.
as amended.
As amended.
as amended.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll have roll call again.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to presentations. You know, when I was looking for Maylin, I don't see her out there, huh? Maylin didn't come in yet? Okay, she was one of our presentations for Girl Scouts. But we have our Shafter High varsity football team here tonight, and we do have a presentation for them. And I know the the coach, as well as the Californian, gave you lots of credit through this short season and very different season that we had. And it was really fun to always get to read. And matter of fact, I even saved some of those articles because it's, to me, it was kind of historical. And I hope that once I read to you this presentation today, that the coach will make copies for that you might put it away and have it for your future reference, because maybe this will never happen again. I mean, I would hope that it doesn't happen again. It's what we had to go through this last year. But in the meantime, it is a pleasure to have you here. And it's also a pleasure to be part of giving you a recognition and a presentation tonight. So I'm going to come forward. Well, I think that we still need to have, is someone taking pictures? Oh, you are, okay. So do we want them up now, or are we gonna have them? Okay, so we get to do all this official reading stuff. Okay. We have a resolution, and you know what? This is what you get to put up in the office, right? All right, so it is gonna be up there. See, everybody else will get to see it in the future years. Anyway, it says a resolution of commendation for the 2021 Shafter High Generals varsity football team. And whereas the 2021 Shafter High varsity football team had an exceptional and memorable season due to the COVID-19, led by head coach Gerald Perucci and assistant coaches Lucas Lucero, Adam Clayton, AC George, Zach Clayton, Derek Hirschman, Leo Mano, oh, you got it, Roger Patterson, Fortino Valdivia, Ponch Marquez, and whereas the 1920-21 Shafter football team sums up what all student athletes have gone through during the COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent government shutdown that took away so much of their high school experience. And the 2021 Shafter Generals football team accumulated a 5-0 record, outscoring their opponents 233 to 29, outgaining their opponents 2,016 yards to 965 yards. And whereas these young men did all this with class, honor, hard work, selflessness, and a genuine love for each other, they are a source of pride for the community of Shafter and have honorably represented Shafter's competitive spirit. And whereas the City Council does hereby recognize the following young men who are models to their peers and adults alike. Elijah Lucero, are you here? You might just raise your hand. Yeah, you might even stand up. That's cool. You get a chance to really show off and stay up. Cameron Huerta. Nick Aguirre. Jesse Bernal. Oswaldo Teresa. Tyson Dozier. Armando Lorea. Did I do it right? Loera?
Yeah.
Oh, Loera, okay. Dom Torres. Okay. Anthony Huxley. Luciano Bernales. Borneas, huh? Help me out there. Come on, guys. Jonathan Sanchez. Josie Sanchez. Murphy Mano. There you go. Koa Rhodes. Kay Rhodes. All right. Jensen Boyd. Anwar Obeid. Robert Lopez. Daniel Morales. Jacob Saldana. Jesus Vargas. Austin Lucero. Jesse Abernathy. Thomas Gutierrez. Damian Duran. Kevin Pineda. Kobe Miller. O Tatum. Joel Gutierrez. Simon Vanderpool. EJ Mendez. Brian Aguilar. Mark Valencia. Gus Waterhouse. And Devin Sundgren. Last but not least, right? Very good. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Shafter proclaim that all citizens of Shafter join together to congratulate and extend a special tribute to the Shafter High varsity team on this past season. So congratulations, guys. And Coach, you want to come up?
Very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Step forward. Have something to say.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I think the writing on this kind of says it all. I mean, they really did do a great job of just representing the city of Shafter, I think, in the way that we all want our young people to represent. They did it with class, and when so much of our society wants people to be a me, you know, it was always about us. And so it's going to be tough to watch these seniors go on because I've had them for 4 years. But I think that they've cemented and done a really good job of continuing the excellence that we do on this program. So thank you to you guys. Thank you so much for having us here. We really do have a lot of pride about representing what's on the front of our jerseys. So thank you very much.
You want them close?
Come on, guys, come up with a picture.
And then we'll have council members even have some congratulations marks.
Come.
No, it's not. Okay, it's not.
Just like real quick. Yeah. Ready? Yeah. One.
Poor guy. I'm sorry, Gilbert.
Yeah, that was fun.
Colby, what'd you do to Vanderbilt? Did you break his other foot too? No? Like somebody forget to pick him up? Cause you know, he can only hobble for so long, bro. Huh? I see.
Okay, as I promised, our council members would like to just say a few words, so I don't know who wants to start. You're gonna start, Pete?
Hey,
Yeah.
boys,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, no, no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, congratulations. Watched every one of your games, and it was awesome to see it firsthand. Especially given the circumstances you were dealt from no season to having a short season. You guys did amazing. I wish we could have seen a full season, but we'll take 5 games at least. As well, Tyson, happy birthday.
All right. Happy birthday.
Hey, boys, to everybody else that are seniors, congratulations, and hope you do very good in the rest of your career. We hope congratulations on going to Navy, correct? Make us proud, man.
I would just like to say congratulations. I was only able to make the last game, but I was keeping tabs on everything that was happening. I know I've coached a few of you all the way back to maybe 8 years old. And it was a pleasure and a joy to hear everything that I heard about this team. The only, I think, downfall was that we didn't get a chance to play Wasco. I'd have loved to play them. But congratulations. You guys did it with a class effort. And thank you from the city of Shafter.
Okay.
I just want to say I want to just say congratulations to all of you and thank you for coming. It's like Coach said, it's a team effort. It's not just one person out there doing it all. It takes everybody. So just with that itself, that's a lesson itself to be taught. But I know some of you, but man, I known you when you guys were small, but now you guys are big. Can't even tell who they are with the mask on. So, but again, those that are seniors, I think all seniors. Are they all seniors, Coach? No, okay. Well, those that are seniors, this was an experience. Like Councilmember Espinoza says, it's just too bad you didn't get the chance to play Wasco. But just keep on going forward and take what you learned to being in football, take it with you as you go. And I'm not sure where you're all going after high school. Hope you're all going to college and congratulations going to the Navy Academy, and wish you the best. And just guys, be blessed.
You didn't even give him a chance. It was like, I asked Coach, I was texting him half the time, dang, dude, at least let the other team act like they're playing this game right now. Man, you guys just destroyed them like every game. It was fantastic to watch it. It's a good time to be a Shafter General, right? Good job, guys. You guys did very good. You guys, more than just football. And, I know Coach personally, and he loves the drive that you guys have for football, but his passion, and I believe you guys speak well of this, is your drive with education, your drive in community service and how you treat others. And that's admirable. Keep that up. Don't lose that when you leave high school, but continue that on, because that's going to take you well on into your years as you're grown men and community leaders around here. So congratulations. Also, if you'd like to know, you can ask your coach what was on the line if he lost any games. So I think he was pushing pretty hard to make sure all the games were won. Some of you may have wanted to see what was going to happen if he lost a game. So you can ask him later. It's true. It's all very, very true.
Well, once again, congratulations, guys. It was really a pleasure to have Shafter come forward and Shafter show the best light. I mean, many of you have been through Shafter High since you started school here, and you know what Shafter's like, and it really says a lot for your demeanor as well as how it reflects on our community. So just can't say how much we appreciate you. Very good. Just have fun. Have fun, whatever you do in the future. So thanks for coming.
I got one last thing to say.
Yes, sir.
Hey, coaches, thank you. And Coach Lucero, you're going to be very much missed. And we hope for nothing but the best in your future endeavors out in Texas.
I would like to pass on thanks to you, Coach, and to your staff. Your dedication and your staff's dedication to leading the team, it's showing, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, very good. You can stay if you'd like. Otherwise, you're excused.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's really kind of cool to see how they. All of you have a copy of the evaluation program report from CSUB, and I believe they're going to be on the screen for us.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. With us tonight, we have the students from CSUB with their report and results from the community survey. We came to you guys back, I believe, March 16th for your guys' input, and I'm going to turn it over to, I'm not sure who's presenting. I believe maybe Eric with CSUB, and we'll get started.
It's all three of us. Gabe's going to
Okay.
be showing the presentation.
Teamwork.
And we'll collectively be speaking our part throughout this presentation.
Okay, am I good to screen share?
You're on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, council members, Mr. Romano, and everybody else in attendance. My name is Gabriel Gaeta, and I'm a student at Cal State Bakersfield, and I will let my group introduce themselves before I proceed.
My name is Luisa Acosta, and I as well as from CSUB in the master's program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Celadon. I too am a MPA student at Cal State. Please excuse my dog in the background. He's a little wound up.
Okay, Professor, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Steve Daniels. I'm the instructor of PPA 5020, the program evaluation class at CSUB.
Okay, so before I get into the bulk of the results, I'd like to cover some background information that will just help give the results a little bit of context. And at any time that anybody has a question or a comment, please feel free to ask. So we generated the survey with the program Qualtrics Survey Solutions. It was easily accessible through the university website and was very accommodating to both the needs of our group and the project. So this comprehensive survey consisted of 12 multi-part questions covering a wide array of elements within the city of Shafter. So as per this slide here, each question will contain one bar graph that best summarizes the extent of the results. So in total, at the end of the survey, 96 people had responded to at least one question. We had 93 respondents in English and 3 in Spanish. So when we first shared the results with City Manager Gonzalez, he brought up a critical point with respect to the sample size and result accuracy. So specifically, he was asking how 96 responses fared compared to a population of 20,000 residents. And if 96 was insufficient in reflecting a reliable representation of the entire population, what would be ideal? So using statistical calculations and concepts like confidence levels and margin of errors, 96 responses out of approximately 20,000 would yield a margin of error of plus or minus 10% for the results to each question. And that's at a 95% confidence level. So we would be 95% sure of our results. So for this question on quality of life, you can see that 78 people out of 91 responded with either excellent or good. And that's 86% of the respondents. That responded excellent or good. So based on the statistical interpretation, our group can be 95% sure that if every citizen participated in the survey, between 76 and 96% of people would answer excellent or good for their quality of life in Shafter. That'd be that 10% above and below at 86%. So it's not the most accurate representation, but it does provide an interesting perspective. And if we wanted to lower that margin of error to maybe 2 or 3%, that would require on average about 1,500 survey responses. And this information is all based on a surveysystem.com website that has calculations for all this stuff. So moving on to the actual results, I would like to address just one more important point. So the survey questions that contained rating scale answers, so those answers that had extremely this, slightly this, no opinion, so on and so forth, were broken down into just 3 categories. So for example, most of the questions had satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied. So those will be broken down to just those 3. So if somebody answered extremely satisfied or slightly satisfied, that would just be combined into 1. So the first question on our survey was with respect to quality of life. And as you can see here, it's viewed favorably among respondents. And it's not really a surprise that these few outliers with average, poor, and bad exist, considering that some individuals just tend to have specific reasons that fuel their discontent. So the next question, oh, yes, go ahead. Okay. So the next question dealt with the quality of neighborhoods in Shafter. So similar to the quality of life, most respondents generally have a positive outlook on the quality of their neighborhoods. Toward the end of the presentation, there will be a map containing the location of every resident's place of where they live. So it would be interesting to juxtapose the results of this graph to the map, and you can see the different neighborhoods that respondents inhabit. Additionally, it's not surprising to see a high satisfaction rate for these 2 areas, neighborhood and quality of life. And later slides will show that residents have an extremely favorable outlook on chapter city services and public safety, which I think fuels these good responses here. So speaking of chapter city services, it's evident that police services have the highest satisfaction rate, followed by fire and emergency medical services, maintenance of city streets, and city water and sewage utilities. These areas likely represent city strength and directly correlate to good qualities of lives and neighborhoods. On the other hand, it's clear that housing development, job growth, and enforcement of city codes and ordinances have notable neutral and dissatisfaction responses. Housing and job growth have likely been hindered by the negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, so it's not totally surprising to observe these trends that are displayed here. As for enforcement of city codes and ordinances, respondents could be referring to anything from vehicles running red lights or stop signs, vandalism, or really anything that they come across as being against the law. So it would be interesting to pursue a study in these areas to just ascertain more information and come up with a more confident explanation as to why people think this way. Moving on, next question dealt with which three areas should receive the most emphasis from city leaders. Respondents were emphasizing the importance of police services, maintenance of city streets, and city water and sewage utilities. Considering the nation's current fixation on law enforcement practices, climate change, and environmental and city cleanliness, it's no surprise that citizens wish to see these areas receive the most resources and attention. And with that, I'm going to pass on to Eric.
Alrighty, guys. This section of the survey took into account the residents' perceptions of particular portions of the city. If you look on the left side of the screen, you're going to see all the different areas in which they rated. It would include a city's appearance, quality of other amenities provided by the city as a place to retire, quality of new development, all the way down to city's growth management, the city's image, and quality of chapter services. Overwhelmingly, we see a lot of green, which is good. As Gabe said, we're breaking our things down into three factors, into three sections to make it easier to represent here on the graphs. Overwhelmingly, city safety. As Gabe touched on, law enforcement services, that's awesome. Obviously, the city manager is working well with the police department. The police department, the chief and his troops are doing a great job out there and definitely meeting the requirements and that the citizens are putting out there. And speaking of somebody who is part of a law enforcement community, I think that's awesome. Another big green you guys are gonna have there are the quality of chapter services. You guys are doing great. But in terms of the red areas we wanted to look at, it's going to be quality of bike and pedestrian facilities, as well as the city's appearance. And again, this was taken a time right after COVID was at its highest. And we don't know that the city really had enough time to get out there and experience these things on a more recent term. But not only that, we also understand that the city manager, as well as those on city council coming in during a new election term, may not have had the opportunity to really put their stamp and their footprint on the city yet. So these numbers aren't necessarily a direct reflection of your guys' work, but it is a direct reflection of the constituents' perceptions as of now. Gabe? This slide is going to take into account the same exact things, one being COVID and two, the city's elected officials and city manager and staff only having been in a short amount of time, with the majority of that time being during COVID. This takes into account the effectiveness of all those people. And as you can see, we see a large number of satisfied on the city's elected officials, And then for the city manager and his staff, and we're seeing a lot of satisfied and a lot of neutral, with the smallest numbers being the dissatisfied. And again, this could be due to the limited experience and exposure that the people have had the opportunity to have with you guys. And it's something that you guys can absolutely build on. And Louisa, we give you guys some good steps to build on from here moving forward. Gabe? Reasons for the respondents to live in Shafter. Overwhelmingly, you see a lot of green, right? And once again, at the top of the list is going to be public safety. I mean, considering the climate now with law enforcement and the public, for the numbers to keep coming up in our statistics the way that they do in favor of law enforcement shows that there's a real trust between the law enforcement and all sectors of emergency medical services in the community, which is absolutely huge. Another area we can look at here in terms of areas for improvement, in the retirement section here, we're seeing a lot of neutral. I mean, they're indifferent about that. That could be a point of focus for you guys moving forward as you guys do future surveys and look for areas to improve. I think looking at this graph here, being the largest section that isn't green, that stands out the most to us. We can't hear you, Gabe. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you, buddy. All righty, and here we're having the respondents rate their satisfaction with city maintenance. Again, overwhelmingly green, which shows satisfied, which could mean they're either extremely satisfied or slightly satisfied, and with the services offered, everything from city parks, buildings, downtown Shafter, curbs, sidewalks, traffic lights and signals, major city streets, as well as neighborhood streets. A large number of yellow here. I'm not exactly sure of the reason for that. It could be that people just don't notice these things. They're not out and about to experience them as much as they were during COVID. But in terms of red, where we're seeing the most dissatisfaction would be the city streets, and coming in tied for second would be downtown Shafter and neighborhood streets. Another point of focus for future surveys put on by the city. The last portion I'll speak on is in regards to communication within the city of Shafter. This is essentially how the constituents, the public, receives their information from the city. What we're seeing here is a fairly even green spread out, but we see here what we're not used to seeing in the rest of the statistics is a lot of yellow, meaning people are neutral or indifferent, which is obvious areas of improvement. The largest dissatisfaction we're seeing is a Shafter Press. That could be the mere fact that with the expansion of technology and social media, less people are reading newspapers. And I don't think that's still not a reason we couldn't improve that number. But I think there's definitely room for improvement in terms of your guys' newsletter, social media, your city website. But not only are there major areas that we can make improvement, but there are also quick ways that we can make improvement and relatively cost-effective ways we can make improvement too. Louisa?
Okay, awesome. So I will be touching on the areas of public safety. So here there are more green areas than there are yellow and red. We're going back into the aspect that a lot of people are very much enjoying and are pleased with the way that the public safety is being handled in the city of Shafter. You see with the highest number at 75 being location of fire stations. That's what the city is very much appreciative of those locations. They think that they're located properly in well areas. And you just see here that overall public safety is very valued in the city of Shafter. For public safety continued, this just kind of goes into more detail and it gives you a little bit more representation of exactly what we're speaking about. So with the highest being a 21.71, the police visibility in neighborhoods. Again, going back to everyone really being that police is probably the number one thing that the city residents in Shafter are in favor of at this point. And so especially with how everything is going nowadays with different communities and how police is being looked at, and for the police in the city of Shafter to be the most favorable really says a lot in favor of how the city of Shafter is responding to these calls and how they're handling things. And for the police to be favorable, honestly, just I applaud the city of Shafter and the police department for shining a light and showing that police can be good people. So this was one of the bigger things that we saw as an issue within our survey was the housing and economic development. So as you see, there's a lot of yellow and there's a lot of red. There's not that much green, and it's just basically showing that we would like these things to continue growing. The most would be the industrial department, and then next would be single family resident development. So again, just something that we city of Shafter can touch on in later surveys is just getting more in depth within this aspect of the future surveys and just seeing what do your community members want in regards to housing and economy development, so that way we can see more green rather than the yellow and the red. So this is going to be the maps that Gabe had spoke about a little bit earlier. So the yellow dots are going to be where the residents stated that they were residing. When completing the survey, at the very end, we asked for a brief, where are you in Shafter? So we could get an idea as to where the survey was being completed from. And a lot of them were just giving street names, or I live near this park, or this, I live near the high school, little things like that. So this was just a map that Rachel had helped us kind of get together so you could see visually where everyone was responding from. So to conclude our results, these were just some of the recommendations that we had come up with collectively with all the information that was provided through the survey completed. So one of the main things that we saw, again, was communication between council members and the community. So one of the recommendations was hosting public events and meet and greets with council members. So we know COVID was a little bit of an issue, so this wasn't something that could necessarily happen recently, but hopefully with COVID restrictions lifting, this was something that we thought could really open up those communication lines between the city of Shafter and the council members. Just this will allow the community members to meet people that are serving them on a more personal level, so that they feel as though they have a connection with the decisions being made about their community. And then next we have town hall open forum forms. And this was something that we were speaking with Rachel and Gabriel about, was just to have an alternative form available for community members to provide their suggestions and concerns that will be addressed during the city town hall meetings. So an example would be some sort of Google form, a link on the city website, something where if someone has a question or a concern in regards to Shafter, that they can drop it in there and that can be sent directly to whoever is in charge. And then just a portion of the town hall meeting be dedicated to answering and addressing these concerns. There are a lot of people who don't have access or unable to watch the YouTube live with the meeting, or they aren't able to attend physically, but they do have concerns and they want to just better the city, their city. And having this available would give them more ways to communicate with you and get these questions and concerns addressed. And then another recommendation we had was having a greater presence on social media. So with one of the results was showing how the Shafter press was not as favorable. And so with the generation growing into a more technical savvy generation, we had just suggested having a higher, greater presence on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media accounts that the city has, just putting the members a little bit more out there, showing their presence at these events, showing their presence at meetings, little things like that, that just show the generation that is to come what the city has to offer and what they can do to grow and build a better Shafter. And then lastly, we had discussed about reassessing the improvements with a reoccurring survey every 1 to 2 years. Since the numbers that we received were a little bit lower than we would have liked to see, and the statistics, we did have to take into consideration that we were in COVID. We are still in COVID. We are in a pandemic. So a lot of the issues, I'm sure, would be having different results had we not been in a pandemic and been isolated for the last year. So with COVID restrictions lifting, we had suggested seeing how many recommendations and how many things have changed. And if you see within a year that there's been more community involvement, more communication, more things going on, do another survey, but touch on the things that were more of an issue or showed an issue within our survey. So that way you're not just getting the same answers and addressing the same things. You get to go into a little bit more detail and get more answers on how to improve the city of Shafter. So that was it for us. Any questions?
It's a very good job.
Anyone have any questions, comments?
Very good job. That was very
You
detailed.
know, if it's the first time for you, it's first time for us to have this time of a program too with students that are participating, because once we get out of this pandemic and once we get on a routine basis again, and we have events, it's a good place to pick up other people that would respond, because we should have more people than that. We've had it before, so yeah, it would be, but still the responses were good. If you take the yellow in the middle and you put it over to the side, because it didn't say dissatisfaction, it really was very good. Very good responses. Anybody else?
I would just like to say that I did take the survey, and according to these results, I was pretty much in line with the results that came out. I wouldn't say I wasn't, and it was just kind of confirmation for me, because I was feeling a certain way, and then I took the survey, and then the results came back, and when I saw it, I was in line with it. So I'm with you, Kathy. If the yellow section is people that really aren't engaged or thinking about it seriously, then it's obviously not a negative. So that's the way I kind of look at it.
Yeah, they didn't mark it as dissatisfied.
Right.
There's always place for improvement.
If you guys are getting graded for this and your professor's on, I would recommend that you definitely have an A+ on this one. And Eric
good.
did not pay us to say that, I promise.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, thank you guys for your guys' hard work. That's pretty cool to see and eye-opening, especially for us as well. Eric, thank you for serving your community. And thank you to your father. He served the community well here in the city of Shafter as well for many years.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah, I did ride along with him. Yeah, I did years ago.
That must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, you were probably just a little snot. You're just a little kid.
My
That's
dad,
right.
my dad left Shafter when I was about 4 years old.
That's right. That's right. I can remember some of the experiences we had then too. Yeah, it was good. He was a
I've heard
good
some of
guy.
the stories. Those wouldn't be okay today, I assure you.
Well, hey, it was a whole lot more fun then. Yeah, Chief. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Anybody else?
No, but just a quick comment.
Sure.
We got feedback from the students that Shafter was one of the only cities that responded to the class in terms of the projects that they took on. Other cities were not as responsive and on Johnny on the spot. So I'd like to recognize the work the students did, obviously, and also, the fact that Rachel was very helpful to them in this process. But they did let us know that we were perhaps the only city that did work with them. Other students in the class didn't have as much success. So
See, we are special.
Thank you,
Yes.
everybody. Appreciate
You
it.
have a comment? Yes, go ahead, Bob.
Hi, class. I'm Bob Meadows. I'm the Economic Development Director here at Chapter. And your slide on that was right on. It's things we're already addressing, small business assistance, the development here. But you laid it out right in front of my council. So now it's just, just that much more pressure, but that's okay.
Yes.
I already know what we're trying to do, but we need that in revenue generation and those things. But and we're working on all of that. So I may wind up calling on some of your people at Cal State to help us out with workshops. We already use the SBDC. And so we'll look forward to, more support from you, but thanks for the affirmation of the things that we are addressing. All right. So good work. Great job.
Good point. That's good. Thank you. Anything else from the students? Great. Well, carry on. Enjoy. Have fun. Bye. Okay, public comment time. Anyone in our group have any comments to bring forward at this time? I don't see any either. Okay, we'll move on to council announcements and reports. Gilbert?
I have nothing to report other than I think I'll let Chad report on the ad hoc library meeting.
Chad?
I was
ready?
gonna go with nothing, and then you said that I completely forgot. Where's David? David's online. I'm sorry, David. I didn't forget about you. I promise. No, we had an ad hoc meeting yesterday for the library, and I'll first start by saying, Romeo has been pretty vocal with what we have going on with the library services and what the county's doing, and so I'm glad he is advocating for us. But I will follow that up by saying, David, you've put a ton of work into this. And, it's not every day that you have to go home and say, well, how in the world am I going to, create a library system? And so you've done a lot of legwork into something that's very unique. And I just want to say thank you to that. Other than that, we had a pretty successful, our Shafter Young Adults group had a play a few weeks ago, and it was a pretty successful play for these teenagers. And we are excited for what's to come. We have our children's group getting ready to start some stuff in the summer. So just trying to keep community involvement the best we possibly can for these kids, especially when they don't have much to do with everything the schools have done. So nothing else.
Caesar?
I have nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Pete?
Nope, nothing to report right
Nothing to
now. Thank
report.
you.
I know it has been a little slower. I would like to say that I did attend the Wizard of Oz, and I want you to know the Young Adults Theater have strong possibilities. They start when they're young. But I also want to tell you that as these kids grow up and then it takes more effort from the adults. Chad was the director of the play, and it was his first time. And they had little guys all the way through 8th grade. Excellent. It was absolutely excellent. I hope that people have asked me about it, and I hope you recorded it so they may buy some tapes. They are going to be available. Who do they contact? The theater. Okay.
We'll put an announcement out there, and they'll be able to contact theater once we're ready.
It really is an outstanding one. I've been to a lot of their plays, but the kids were just, they were professional. They really were. And Chad he was nervous, I know, but you know what? He pulled it off. And that shows the abilities of the leaders of the adults and the other parents that participated in there. He had all 3 of his daughters, and his oldest daughter was Dorothy. Yeah, she was outstanding. She really was. So even to show it again at home, your grandson would just really, really enjoy it. I know he would. Yeah, the music is good. The dancing is good. And yeah, it's really very good. Well done. The other one, we did have another AB 617 meeting on the 10th of May. And our staff was present, made a little bit of a presentation, hoping to steer some of the money here that needs to be allocated in some of the ways that's going to help clean up air. Maybe this next meeting in June will give us some more details as to some money with their budget planning, because it has to all be approved with the State Air Resources Board. And so there's still a process, but they need to start taking some action. Also on 5/14, which was on a Friday, I had a Valley Voices meeting that I listened to on Zoom, and it was the executive board, and they did agree to hire a lobbyist. In the past, they've had lobbyists that have dealt only one time in the year, once in Washington DC and once in Sacramento, but this time they've decided to expand for the whole year. And so our issues for Valley will come forward throughout the year on a, not necessarily pilot, but an emphasis to get more recognition for the Valley in California. And so, you know, the northern part of the Valley Voices, there's 8 counties. They're a little stronger in some areas, whereas we have some other interests here in the south. But I believe altogether, we can still put together something that's going to benefit all of us in the Valley. And then also, I had a call with staff. We had our chief from the CCF, and we had also city manager, and we had a call from Melissa, the Senator Hurtado. And it gave me pleasure to represent our city and to thank her for sponsoring and pulling forth on our relinquishing the lease for our CCF. And so that's what our add-on part here is for the request for the emergency, how do I say it, emergency action that we have to take tonight. So she did say how it's really tough up in Sacramento, and it just is tough. I mean, it's tough in all areas, no matter where you stand on it. So I did thank her very much for at least representing us and doing for us. That's all I had. Okay, let's move on to consent calendar. Now, most of our items are on the consent calendar tonight, and I would like to highlight them only because I think the public as well as us need to be fully on board to know what we have before us. We have general checks, payroll, and minutes. Those are just standard. Then we also, number 4 is to approve a special event permit, which will allow Shafter Chamber of Commerce the 3rd of July fireworks celebration at the Shafter High Sports Complex. That's on July the 3rd. Number 5 is to adopt resolution number 2800, which authorizes examination of sales and use tax records, because we are allowed to get those, and it authorizes the ones that will be able to see those figures. Number 6 was to award a contract to JM Pipeline Construction in the amount of $14,900 for the installation of insert packages of 2 manholes. You remember we had it previously and the bid was kind of high, so we reduced it, and we're allowing for 2 manholes. Number 7 was to update city water meter standards for W6, W7, and W8 updated with new automated meter readings specifications. Number 8, authorize the installation of stop signs for all directions of vehicle travel at the intersection of West Ash and South Valley, which it's an uncontrolled intersection. Also, number 9, accept the bids received for 7th Standard and the West Beltway traffic signal to Loop Electric for $292,456. Number 10, accept the dedication of easement for street and public utility purposes from Wonderful Real Estate Development, and there's no cost to the city for that. Adopt resolution number 2798, which authorizes the formation of a U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, which is SEDS, and the committee that we've just appointed, myself and Mayor Pro Tem Chad Givens. Number 12, accept the proposal submitted by Coughlin Associates dated April 21st for the SEIU compensation study. Number 13 is to approve a memorandum of understanding for electric vehicle ready communities phase 2. And that would expand our charging stations, correct? Yes. So that completes the consent calendar. Any questions or comments? Oh, I need a motion.
I think the stop sign is a good move, by the way, and I will make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Givens, seconded by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Espinoza
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Next item is a public hearing. I have so many papers. Let me see where I can find it. Public hearing is for landscape and lighting assessment district number LL001, 2015 tract 7319, phase 2 and 3, annexation number 6 approval.
Certainly, Mayor and Council, this is somewhat routine ministerial with that, making the staff report for the public hearings. Our Public Works Director, Mike James. Mike.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council, Michael James, Director of Public Works. As Gossamer Grove continues to grow, the city needs to make sure that the special assessment district that funds street lighting and landscaping maintenance in Gossamer Grove continues to grow as well through an annexation process. So the benefiting lot owners can continue to fund the ongoing operation and maintenance of those public facilities. Lennar is now requesting to record and develop tract 7319 phases 2 and 3. It would add 188 new residential lots to Gossamer Grove. Previously, the council approved an engineer's report that recommends the annual assessments with these new lots. And they also authorized a public hearing for tonight's meeting that's required in order to proceed with the annexation. So that hearing is obviously on the agenda tonight. It was properly noticed by the city clerk. And at the conclusion of the hearing, staff requests that the council adopt resolution 2799, which would formally authorize the annexation to take place. Just to provide you a little bit background on this annexation, the new assessments will come in at approximately $503 per year per resident. Previously, the assessments for the benefiting lot owners was $540. So with all the additional lots, you have more people participating in the shared costs. So the costs are actually supposed to go down through this annexation. This particular annexation doesn't involve any significant facilities like a new park. The previous annexation had a new park. We're just expanding, we're just adding new street lighting and streetscapes to this district. So if approved, these assessments could go into effect as early as next fiscal year, but not likely. We have to wait for those lots to develop and the county to assign assessment or APNs to them. So it's going to take some time, but it should be noted that the developer Lennar Homes is entitled to a 45-day notice of a hearing like this. But in order to expedite the recordation and development of the tract, they've waived that right. And they've also furnished the city with a ballot formally approving future assessments on these lots. So with that, we ask that you conduct the public hearing and at the close of the hearing, adopt the resolution before you. Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to open the public hearing. If anyone cares to address the council for or against, may come forward at this time. That's the Landscape Lighting Assessment District out in Gossamer Grove. Hearing none, we close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from the council? I have the one question. Does it lower the other previous assessments?
Yes, it does. Everyone with this annexation, once it goes into effect, will be subject to the same assessment per year.
Okay, automatic then, good. Okay, we need a motion then to approve.
Make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Givens, seconded by Councilmember Lopez to adopt resolution number 2799. Roll call.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Espinoza
Yes.
and Prout.
Yes. Okay, under management reports, we have none. City manager comments and
Mayor,
reports.
we do have the walk-on item that amended.
Oh, that's right. I thought you were going to do it under yours. That's okay. It's okay. All right. So we will work on this one for the approval for the agreement between the city of Shafter and CDCR.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the reason it's on the management report, because it does require formal council action. And so just for the record, we want to state the reason it's a walk-on item. is because this item came up after the agenda was posted. And then two, there is a sense of urgency with this item to be approved tonight. Our bill, SB 385, is scheduled to go to be heard before the Senate Appropriation Committee this Thursday, the 20th. And so there was a urgency between us and CDCR to get this signed and approved prior to the 20th. And so for those two reasons why we're adding it on last minute. So council, as you know, the Shafter Modified Community Correction Facility closed on October 30th, 2020, not a decision of the city, but a decision of State Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. At the time of the closure, we shared with you that we estimated an approximate cost of $120,000 to mothball the facility, of which didn't make any sense for us to maintain a facility that was going to remain vacant. One, two, every indication is that CDCR is looking to close and reduce the inmate population. Earlier this evening during the budget workshop, you heard Chief Zimmerman inform you that there's discussions by CDCR to release approximately 76,000 or so inmates. So every indication is that the inmate population will continue to decrease, and therefore there isn't a need for CDCR to keep this facility. By way of background, what I'm referring to is that from the 1996 settlement agreement between CDCR and the city of Shafter, part of that settlement included CDCR having a 99 one-year lease option on that facility. And they have used it for about 20 plus years while the MCCF was in operation. Now that it's closed and knowing that the inmate population continues to decrease, we had requested of CDCR to relinquish that lease so that we can repurpose that facility for a revenue generating economic development project and or some other type of use, of greater use for our community. We solicited support from Senator Hurtado's office, and she graciously supported our request and authored SB 385, which would have required CDCR to relinquish the lease. We previously informed you that SB 385 was making its way through the Senate committee hearings. Two of the hearings it's already been before is the Public Safety Committee and the Appropriations. Just last Friday on May 14th, CDCR contacted me wanting not two things, but urgently wanting to negotiate a settlement of that 99-year lease term. And so we reached deal points mutually agreed between CDCR and the city. Quickly, the four deal points: one was that CDCR would relinquish the lease, meaning we would get possession of our city-owned facility. Two, there would be no financial impact to the city. During the Senate Appropriations Committee meeting, Department of Finance was throwing out there a number of $37 million that CDCR had paid towards the city for the bonds. And so there's no financial impact for the release of that 99-year one-year lease. Also, CDCR and the city mutually agreed to release each other from the 1996 settlement agreement. We basically say that we've met those terms and therefore we're doing away with that. And then lastly, the effective date of the agreement would be immediate upon execution of the agreement. Just late this afternoon, we received Secretary Ellison, who's the secretary for CDCR, their signed copy. And so with your approval tonight, you'll be authorizing Mayor Prout to sign on behalf of the city. And so that we can get them a copy, we have their signature. We will then wait for their documentation for the release on the settlement agreement so that we can record all the documentation. But that'll follow after. But once we approve tonight, sign it, get it back to them. As I said, Secretary Ellison has already executed on behalf of CDCR. And so this is very much a done deal. And so tonight we're asking your approval of the settlement terms and agreement for CDCR per the staff report. That concludes our presentation.
Any questions of staff? You know, as I shared with Senator, is the fact that, you know, I was there when we were building that facility, and that I felt that we have partnered through all these years. We partnered very well with the state. And I know Gilbert's been on council and he knows that too. I thought we were outstanding in all of our evaluations and ratings that we had. And, you know, there's no reason for us to hold our head down. And I think she understood what I was saying. So it was most important for her to hear that, because I don't know that she's ever been here to see that. So yeah, it's a good move and she should feel good about it.
And then with your indulgence, Mayor, I'd just like to acknowledge the work of others. It wasn't just me. We had a Chief of Corrections, Paul Lozano, who was instrumental, along with Howard Gold, who had all the institutional knowledge on this, which was very helpful. Obviously, our city attorney, Marco Martinez, others like Wayne and Bob that also had a part in it as we started talking about how are we going to repurpose it. So team effort all the way around. And of course, our lobbyist, Dean Flores, and his business partner, Bob Alvarez, with Balanced Public Relations, that were very much key and instrumental at the Sacramento level with helping us navigate the legislative process. So overall, a team effort by everybody. So
yeah, that was good.
I just want to say again, just well done, good job to everyone who helped out, like which all those that you mentioned, because I've looked at it. You said about 100 years or 99 plus 1. At 120, they use it like for 20 years, right? So leaves us what, 80 years left? 75 times 120. If they just would play, not done anything with that. I don't know what number that will be, but it's a lot of money. And I just want to say, thank you again for all the hard work, the initiative, the ownership, just to get it done, because it would have been a burden for the city. So thank you again to everyone who was involved.
Yeah, she understood too, and she wanted to know what we were going to do with it. And there is an unknown yet, but with some education component part of it, or money fundraising, revenue generating. That's why it's going to be important for us. It's in a close proximity to us. I mean, there's pluses for us. And I invited her to come or to even call anytime she wanted to know how Shafter does it.
The good thing is that we have control now.
That's right.
We don't have to go through the state, ask for
Exactly.
permission,
Yep.
or make
Enough.
deals. So it's in our hands. We got
That's right.
control. We got the keys now.
That's right.
That's the blessing here.
That's right. Exactly.
I'd just like to add, Gabriel, good job, and everybody that was involved. And I was really excited when I got the phone call and was informed of the decision and all that. And good job. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we still need to have a motion, right?
I'll make a motion to approve as read.
I'll second.
Okay, we had a motion by Council Member Lopez and Mayor Pro Tem Givens. You guys reversed that on me. Roll call.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Givens,
Yes.
Lopez.
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Proud.
Yes. Okay, now we'll have the city manager comments and reports.
So Mayor, Council, just a couple items. Friendly reminder, this Saturday is the ribbon cutting and dedication at Menlo Park for the outdoor fitness court. Starts at 11 o'clock. So hope to see everyone there. Also, just a quick update on COVID standing report. Kern County continues to remain in the orange tier, but we hope to move into the yellow tier as early as next week, the 26th. COVID-19 vaccine clinic also this Saturday, the 22nd, here at our Veterans Hall in the smaller room. That's in conjunction with the Kern County Latino Task Force, Hispanic Latino Task Force, and Dignity Health. Kaiser, apologies. Okay, it's all three. Yeah, so Saturday, May 22nd from 3 to 7 p.m. We asked specifically for a later time to hopefully get some of our residents that may work on Saturdays and they can come in. The other good thing is that they're going to come back the 3 or 4 weeks later to give the second shot. So our residents that get the first shot won't have to go elsewhere to get that second shot. They'll actually be able to schedule it 3 or 4 weeks later. And so they'll be giving out some free ice cream for the people to get their vaccine. And on the way out, a food box that's being donated by the food bank. So just some incentives to try to get some people to come down here and get their vaccination. And Mayor and Council, that concludes my my update too.
Any department heads have anything?
No, we don't have any department heads, Mike to single to me, so. that
Guys are
concludes
very
the-
quiet over in the corner. Hmm,
Well, the chief's happy after the survey, so you know.
yeah. You didn't know it beforehand?
He's been beaming ear to ear.
Okay, so we're ready to do a recess so we can have something to eat before we go into, gee, I mean, all this paper today. Here we go. Public employee performance evaluation for our city manager. So I need a motion.
Motion to recess to closed session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Going to closed session at 7:18. All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, no. We are recessed. Okay.
Your mic.
Too much
Turn your
paper.
microphone off.